Hey guys, it's the Artsy Artist, and today we are going to be doing a tutorial on chocolate cake with whipped cream and cigar cookies. So let's get started, and the first thing you're going to need is some white clay, some chocolate clay, a lighter brown clay, beige or tan clay, a blade, a pin, a .14 star tip. You can usually find this in the bakery section of a craft store. I got this at Michael's for around 99 cents. Something to push the clay through the star tip, so I'm using this end of a paintbrush. And maybe a roller or a clay tool to roll out your clay. So let's get started. So once we have our materials, we are going to want to take the chocolate clay and the lighter brown clay, and what we're going to do is make a chocolate cake and then cut the 2 squares for earrings out of that. So just take a little bit of each. So first we're going to take the chocolate clay, so you can see that I took more chocolate clay than I did the lighter brown clay because this is going to be the actual cake and this is just going to be the filling. So let's get on with our cake slices. I realized I might be needing more clay than I took, so I did cut some more. So how our cake is going to look is it's going to look cake, then cream, and then cake. So 3 layers of the cake and then 2 layers of the cream. So we're going to go ahead and start out with the first layer of the cake. So we're going to cut some off. So if there's 3 layers of the cake, we're going to want to cut this into thirds. So we're going to go do that, and then we're going to flatten each third out into a flat so we can make the cake. So what I did is that they weren't all perfect the first time I cut it into thirds, so I had to kind of trim some off of the biggest clay, and then I had to kind of separate it out into the 2 small ones, and they still aren't exactly perfect, but that's okay. So you're going to want to flatten each of these now into about the same thickness of the cake. So now my 3 cake pieces are all level to each other, and we're going to move these to the side now and start working on the cream. So we're going to do the exact same thing to the cream, except we are only going to need 2 layers. So we might not even need this whole ball of clay, but we're going to see what it turns out to be, and then we'll determine from there. So I ended up taking half of the ball of clay I originally had, and now we are going to just flatten these quarters of the clay out like we did the cake. So as I flattened out my cream, I did compare it to the size of the cake, so I knew how thin or thick it was going to be, and I also compared it to the other fillings, so they were the same. And now we're going to go ahead and start putting our cake together. So now that I went ahead and layered my cake, I'm going to go ahead and use my blade and cut it so that I trim off the excess clay around the edges. And we are going to make this a square cake today, since they are chocolate cake squares instead of a circle cake. So now that I have my trimmed cake square, I'm going to be making this into about 4 squares, since I already see I can have about 4, but you may get more or less depending on how much clay you used for your cake. So now I'm just going to go cut this into 4s. So now I'm going to be using the best 2 that I got out of my cake. You could finish up your other 2 later, so I'm just going to go put these off to the side. And collect your scraps because they could be used for something else if you separate them out, which I will do later. So put everything to the side but your 2 squares. And now comes the kind of time-consuming part. You could either take a pin like this or a needle tool. And what we are going to want to use this for is the texture. So we are going to be texturing only this chocolate part, not the cream filling, because only cake has the type of texture we are going to be doing. So take your pin or needle tool and just start texturing all sides of the dark chocolate. Now I've finished texturing my cake slices, and I do think they look so much more realistic and adorable when you do texture them versus when you don't. So we are going to put these off to the side, and now we are going to start working on these cigar cookies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beige clay now and the excess or the trimmings from the large cake that we used to make these miniature squares, and I'm going to mix this together to kind of make a light brown and dark chocolate mixture for a new color of clay. So now I have taken the trimmings from the big cake and that we used to cut into the 4 squares and mixed it to make this nice new kind of light between dark clay color for the cigar cookies. So what we're going to want to do is take a little piece of clay from each little ball here, and you're going to want to take your blade. Now where did mine go? Here it is. And just take a little piece from each and roll them into snakes. And then I also just twisted them a little bit more to make them more realistic. So now these will just look so adorable on our chocolate piece of cake. But first we have to make the whipped cream because that is what the cookies are going to go on. So let's move all of the things we just made all over to the side. And now we are going to go to the next step and start on our whipped cream. Now for the whipped cream, we are going to want to take our white clay star tip number 14 and something to push the clay through. Again, I am using the end of a paintbrush. And we are going to take just a little bit of clay. You don't need a lot. So probably just about this much. And condition it. This one's already really soft, so it doesn't need much of mixing or conditioning. So take your star tip and kind of roll this into like a very thick snake so it will go through the star tip easily. Then you want to, I already have some clay in here, but that's okay. It's still okay and it doesn't dry, so we're good. And just push this through the star tip to get the whipped cream you need. And this is about all the whipped cream you will be needing. Probably a little more than you will need actually. And so you just kind of want to twist it to make a more cuter look if you want to, or you could just leave it. But I just think it looks cuter. So I just kind of twisted both ends to make this look. Cut it, so we're just going to make the dollops now. So we have our cute little clay, whipped cream clay dollops on our cake slices. So the final step now is adding on our cigar cookies. And now we've finished our very cute chocolate cake with whipped cream and cigar cookies. I hope you like these cake slices. I know I do. I just think they are so adorable. So I am making these into earrings. Of course, you could do whatever you want, but this is an earring tutorial for 2 chocolate cake slices. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead and add in 2 eye pins right now, and then bake these for each about, I would bake them both for about 7 to 10 minutes, but I still don't trust that the clay will harden around the eye pin to secure it in so it won't fall out. So after that, I am just going to add some super glue, just a little tiny bit around the eye pin to secure it in, and then we will make them into earrings. So now after I've baked my cakes, I glazed them for a more moist and fluffy look, and now you have a pair of cute and adorable chocolate cake earrings. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will have these earrings for sale in my shop if you'd like to purchase them. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. I will put the link in the description box below to my shop if you'd like to check it out. I'd really appreciate that. If you do not have your ears pierced but like my earrings, I do have clip-on earrings I can make them into, so just contact me on my Etsy store and I'd be happy to do that for you. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye, guys!